Alrighty, my name is Antonio Reedus. As I said, I am the Manager of Educational Supports with Metro United Way. It is a pleasure to see everyone this morning. I'm glad that you all are here with us today. You are in for a treat. If you have not experienced a training with Ms. Shavon Doston, you have missed out. But gratefully today, you will be able to experience this training on today. So today we will be learning about virtual interactive tools with Ms. Shavon Doston. But first, let me get some announcements out of the way. So on May 27th, that is BLOCS, that is our end of year celebration. So every year we always convene to talk about how the year went and also to prepare for what next year is going to look like for us. So that is May 27th. And that begins at 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then on June 8th through the 11th is our Summer Institute, okay? And that will also be with Mr. Von Dodson. And we will also have some other trainers as well. We'll be talking about trauma-informed care. We'll be talking about structure and clear limits. A lot of the youth work methods will be covered in the Summer Institute. So if you would like to get your staff or yourself prepared for summer, or a lot of times, a lot of organizations hire new people to come on, this will be an excellent opportunity to get everybody prepared and ready for some programming. All right, again, that is June 8th through the 11th. And let me post in the chat, I put our events website so you can see those trainings and be able to register for all of those things. And that is it for the business that I have. And just one more thing in the chat, if you could just put your name in the organization that you are with, please. Just your name in the end, I'm gonna say interview, in the organization that you are with, please. Alrighty, it is 10:05 and I will hand it over to Ms. Shavon Dodson. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Antonio, and thank you all so much for having me here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am looking at the chat and I'm just seeing who is tapping in and typing in and saying hello and all those good things. So hello, hello, good morning, good morning, good morning, Tanel, good morning, Joe, good morning, TJ, good morning, Claire, good morning, Meg, good morning, C. Bishop. Good morning, Antonio. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. And thank you to you all for having me. Good morning, Jessica. So, as Antonio said, I am Shavon Dotson, and I am really excited to be here this morning chatting with you all about virtual interactive tools, right? We have been in this virtual space for over years. And so it is awesome to kind of see what we can do in the virtual space. I don't know about you all, but I'm going to be very transparent and say this has been a pivot for me myself as a trainer. It's also been a pivot as someone who has also worked with programming and still do work with youth and programming. So I've had to do a lot of pivoting, as I am sure you all have had to do a lot of pivoting as well. And so there are some tools that I have found that really work very well to try to make this as interactive as possible when we're in this virtual space. So we're going to talk about some things today. Now, do understand this is not like a full gamut of things. These are just selected tools that I have personally found really useful, tools that allow you to still be interactive and still engage our youth in a really fun way, right? And also the best part, they free. I love free tools. I don't know about you all, but I love free tools. So some of these you may have heard about. And, if you have, we're going to talk about like if you have tools that you have found useful, I'm going to want you to share those with us as well, because we're also going to turn this into like a resource sharing session. So I'm going to have you here until about 11:30. Who knows? We may end a little early. We might end right on time. I guarantee you we won't go over. That is one thing I can promise you. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen to pull up my presentation. Okay. So before I really get started into everything, And I'm going to keep the view kind of like this so that it will allow me to see everything on my screen, because I'm going to go from sharing my presentation into actually sharing my internet screen as well. So hopefully you all don't mind kind of seeing the presentation look like this. Do me a favor, and if you can see my screen, go ahead and give me a thumbs up in the emoji reaction little area that is on your bottom toolbar. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up just to let me know that you can see it. Perfect. I see some thumbs up coming in here today. Awesome. So the couple of the features we're going to be using during our session, we are going to be using the chat feature today. So just FYI, I will be asking you to type some things into the chat, because you all typed your name and the organization that you represent. That lets me know you know how to access the chat, and I can see what it is you are typing. So that is perfect. And then I'm also going to be asking you to use the little emoji feature. I actually really love that feature because it allows me to interact with people with no words. So I enjoy that feature as well. So here we go. Intro to virtual interactive tools. All right. So this is me. I am your facilitator, Shavon Doston. And just a little bit about myself. I have been in the youth development space for, man, it has been 19 years now. I have held a lot of positions in this space. I've done a lot of things in this space, and I am a lifelong learner. So I will tell you one thing, the pandemic highlighted for me is that I still don't know a lot of stuff. And also that there's just, so much to still learn as trends change, right? And the most important thing I'm learning is that how we engage and interact with our youth is just constantly changing. What they're interested in is changing. How they communicate with one another is really, really changing as well. So I am trying to really force myself to stay on top of the trends and stay engaged. But I love the work that I do. I have had so many positions in this field. I've been an after school tutor. I've been a director. I've been, a facilities person. I've been an operations person. I've been a grants manager. So I've done a lot of things, and I am really excited to be a trainer and a facilitator now in this work. I still do work with youth. I am in one of my hobbies, I am a professional makeup artist, and I love sharing that skill set and gift with a lot of our youth. So I really enjoy kind of being able to see both sides of it. And I challenge myself to practice what I preach all the time when I am still working with our youth. So that's just a little bit about me. I'm also located in the DC area. I live in Maryland, and I do a majority of my work between DC and Virginia. So I'm excited to be able to connect with you all virtually in this space that we have here today. So that is just a tidbit about me and who I am and kind of what I've done in this field. So today we're going to go over some of our workshops. During this workshop, here are our objectives. Participants will understand the importance of meeting the social and intellectual needs of youth. Participants will learn about various platforms to connect with youth virtually and in person. And participants will gain hands-on experience using these various online interactive platforms. So I am going to be going over some things with you all today. Hopefully, you all are at a space where you will be able to go to another website on your computers, because we're going to have some fun and play around with some of these things today, just so that you can gain some of that hands-on experience. All right, so we're going to do a really quick icebreaker just to open it up, right, and see. So what I'm going to do, I am going to put a link in the chat. So I just dropped a link in the chat. Feel free to click that link. It is going to take you over to a website called Slido. And I would love for you to go ahead and answer the question. And the question is, right, name one fun thing you did over the weekend. We're going to keep it simple. I just want to know, what did you do that was really fun over the weekend? Feel free to type that into the little area there. And if you can't access Slido, you can always type your answer into the chat as well. So what was something fun you did over the weekend? All right. What did I do fun over the weekend? I went to brunch. I had to think about it. I went to brunch. Like it was the first time that I actually got out of the house and went to brunch. So my sharing is going to be paused as I pull up this your answers. All right, here we go. I see some answers coming in here. Ooh, cool. All right. So we have someone said I did game night with my siblings. That sounds extremely fun. I miss my siblings. I am originally from Wisconsin and all my family is still there. And so I miss my siblings. So game night with siblings sounds amazing, actually. Someone says I spent time with my mom. I'm sure that was extremely special. Someone else says got ramen with a friend. Ooh, it's always nice to reconnect with people. We've been in these, in our bubbles for so long. So if you're like me, it's just like, oh, I get to get out the house. Went out to eat. Someone else says took my oldest to lunch. Awesome. Someone says nephew's t-ball game. Oh, someone went to a bicycle pop-up shop. Let's see. Went out to dinner, took oldest to lunch, ramen, night game. Oh no, someone went to a pop-up shop. Someone else went to bicycle. Okay. Here we go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So it seems like you all had some fun things that you got to do over the weekend. I love to hear it. Love to hear about really fun, interactive things, interacting with other people. And so that kind of brings us back to here we are. What we're going to be talking about today. Someone says, is Slido a free resource? Yes, it is. And it's going to be one of the resources we talk about. Every resource I'm sharing with you all today is free. They have a free version. I believe in free. So especially in this work that we do. Antonio said, I was about to ask where you went to brunch, but I just remembered you're not in Louisville. No, but actually I went to it's a new little spot here in my area and it was so beautiful. It's like a farmhouse that they converted into like a restaurant brunchy area. And I just got to get out the house, right? And I had the chicken and waffles. Chicken, not so great. Their waffles were delicious, but it was really, really beautiful. And it was just a nice scene. And I love brunch, y'all. I love brunch. So I'm always looking for an opportunity to eat brunch, eat breakfast for lunch. Rhonda says, will we get an email list of your awesome resources after the meeting? I am actually going to email you this entire presentation. And so you will have all of these resources from this presentation in the presentation. You get to get a copy of this. I am not going to be stingy with any of this information. I want you to have it. Rhonda says, yay. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so here's our agenda for today. We're going to do an opening activity. Then we're going to go right into exploring these virtual tools. Then we're going to go over some best practices. I want you to tell me what you have been using that has been conducive for you and your program, or even maybe some lessons you've learned as well. Then we'll do a reflection and we'll close it out. So this isn't an extremely long session today, but we are going to get into it and make the best of our time together here. So let's open it up. And here's what I want to discuss, right? We've been in this space, in this virtual space, and I want to discuss with you all what are some challenges you've been facing with youth engagement in your virtual spaces. Feel free to type it or you can unmute yourself and talk it and let me know. What are some challenges that you have been like, whoo, this virtual space has just been, it has been working me. I'll give you a minute to respond.
Shavon do a lot of check-ins with a lot of our sites, and many have said that when they are, doing their virtual programming, that the youth aren't very responsive, and a lot of them have their cameras off, so it's kind of hard to gauge, without seeing facial expressions, how they're responding to what is being presented or not, or how they're feeling about what the program is.
Thank you, Antonio. Thank you. And I want to explore some of that really briefly before we get into the virtual tools about engagement, right? Meg says, same, Antonio. Same from Meg. Anyone else want to share maybe some challenges you've been facing with youth engagement during this time when we've been in, these virtual spaces and the virtual sessions.
I have a problem with, because I work with school age children in the YMCA before school, after school programs, summer programs. Ours is not only just the space, it's trying to follow all the CDC regulations, licensing regulations, and it's become very complicated, challenging situations for us to keep all these things going and keep the kids going and having fun all at the same time, with keeping the morale up and the aggravation down, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, right? Keeping the morale up and the aggravation down. I should put that on a t-shirt because I feel like that has really been the theme for me as well during this time. Like, how do I keep the level of aggravation down? Like you said, and there's a challenge. We're still trying to follow all of the regulations that honestly change every single week at this point, right? We've been in this for a year, and there's always something different we find out we have to do, we can't do, we were doing, can't do that anymore. And so things are constantly changing. This has been such a fluid situation. It is very difficult to kind of stay on top and make sure that you are keeping that engagement level up. Thank you so much for sharing that.
It's not just every week. It seems like every hour by the hour we're getting another email. Oh no, now this has changed again. And then you're trying to not only explain this to your staff, but then try to explain this to a 4 and 5 year old, even an 8 and 9 year old. Oh, I understand that you can't do this anymore, and get them to understand it in the terms in their language is even harder than trying to get it in the adult term and language.
You are absolutely right. Like getting our youth to, really kind of conceptualize what's going on. I'm sure that is a difficult job, especially when they're so small. And you're right. We keep changing it up. I'm sure you all have gotten plenty emails. Like I saw a situation yesterday where a company sent one email out in the morning that was like, here are all the things that we're not going to do anymore. And, yada, yada. They had all of these things. And then they said like 2 hours later, they sent another email basically contradicting themselves and saying, okay, just kidding. We are actually gonna. And so people are very confused. They're like, wait a minute, I don't know how to prepare for this. You keep changing things up on me. So I could about imagine that's really difficult to try to get our young people to understand, because they're like, well, you said I could do it yesterday. Now you're telling me I can't do it today. And it can it's frustrating for adults. I just know it's frustrating for our young people as well. So thank you. And then Claire she said, yes, plus youth are at such different places with technology access and home environment that can make it hard for them to engage over something like Zoom. Absolutely, Claire, right? It's very different. Rhonda says, and youth have just been too busy. So definitely some challenges here. How do we loop them in? How do we deal with all of the technology mishaps? And I think that's one of the things that has just been a challenge for me as well, right? And I've also been do observations and assess some of the programs, and we've had to do that virtually. And I've seen some programs who, they figured out a system and they got it going and it was working, working very well for them. And I've also seen some programs that are just like, listen, we've been trying and it seems like nothing is working for us. And it's hard for us to keep our youth on, or depending on what type of programming you offer, all programming may not be done the best in a virtual setting. You're just like, I need to physically be in the space with these youth. And then one thing we know as well, when we have these programs and our youth would come to us in our spaces, we would be able to take them out of the spaces that maybe frustrate them, right? Home is not a sanctuary for all of the youth that we serve. Sometimes home is the trigger. So it is difficult trying to engage a youth when they are sitting in the midst of the place that triggers them and still keep them focused and still keep them engaged. Or of course, then we deal with the spotty technology. youth are trying to communicate and internet is going in and out. Or like I've seen some of these young, small children, like 4 or 5, they just want to press buttons on the computer. They have no clue. They just want to type, 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 type. And I will say I've just seen staff do an amazing job really trying to loop them in, and just, everyone's been trying as hard as we possibly can. So I'm going to go and share some things today. I'm not going to be able to address every single challenge because I don't have all the answers to all of the challenges, but I am going to share with you all some tools that I have found really useful as far as engagement. And hopefully you'll be able to take something away and decide that you might want to incorporate some of these things. And thank you so much for sharing with me some of your challenges you've been facing. I hear you, I see you, they are so valid. And let's see how we can maybe troubleshoot some of those things today. So here's the importance of virtual tools, right? So first thing is going to do, we want to create a sense of belonging amongst our young people. When we talk about building community, doing it in the virtual space can definitely be a challenge because we're not all in a physical space together. We're not all looking and being able to interact the same. So we really want to focus on building community in our virtual space. One of the suggestions that I do make to people that you can give to your youth so that they also can feel a sense of safeness while they're interacting with you. And this is only if it's possible. It's not possible for every youth. But one thing you can encourage your youth, you can say, hey, why don't you choose, what's going to be your spot for programming? What spot in your home can you say, okay, when I tap into programming, I'm going to be right here. This is going to be my space right here. And if you can, and really encourage them to create that space, like draw a picture, post a picture, bring your favorite pillow, bring your favorite stuffed animal, bring your favorite toy, make that space as inviting to them as possible, as comfortable to them as possible. So me, myself, I could do my trainings anywhere in my house. I have been virtual for, 14, 15 months. And I could be like, how am I doing it in the bedroom? I want to do it in the living room today. No. I have purposely created a safe space for me where I feel most comfortable. I have my little candles here, you all. I have my light here. I have my salt lamp here. I had to create a space where I step into this space. I feel most comfortable. I feel like I can give you what I need, because I know if I go into a different space, my energy is going to change, because I'm going to get distracted by all the things that I'm like, oh, my daughter didn't wash the dish. Oh, how did that piece of paper get it right? I'll get distracted. So I would encourage you, right? One way you can try to create this sense of belonging for your youth and maybe enhance their experience, if it's possible, encourage them to select a space in their house that they're going to make their virtual space. And, sometimes maybe they don't have access to be able to put pictures and decorate the space, but even ask them to bring in items that mean something to them, where it makes them feel safe, because we want to create that safety and security, even in the virtual space. We want them to feel like when you tap into this space, you're here with me, you're still safe, right? How can we mimic that safety and security that we give them when they're in our physical space? So trying to have them kind of like imagine when they tap into Zoom or Microsoft Teams or WebEx or whatever platform you're using, they are going on a trip and saying, I'm going to take my teddy bear, I'm going to travel right into this safe space, and just see how that may or may not help. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but it is just a tip. So we want to create a sense of belonging amongst our youth to still give them a chance to interact and feel a sense of community. We want to help increase productivity in our program. So we want to help keep them doing the things, doing the activities. If we're doing homework help, like I want to help you still do your homework. We want to increase youth engagement and attendance, because we know if it's boring, they're not coming, right? If it's like we're just talking at them, they're not coming. I've been training virtually for 14, 15 months with grownups, and I can tell you right now, if I'm boring, y'all not coming. If I am just talking at you, you are tapped out. It's the same way with our young people. So we really want to make this as engaging as possible so that we can encourage them to actually come to programming, tap in and log in with us. We want to enhance youth voice in programming. We want to still give them space to tell us what they think, what's interesting to them, how they feel about, about things, checking in with them. So I'm going to share with you some resources that you all can use to still be able to get that youth voice. And then we also want to increase student learning. Right? So what are some tools that we can still make sure that we're helping them academically, helping them reach their academic goals? Like I said, if you're doing tutoring, how can we still make it engaging as if I was sitting next to that person? So that's why we want to use these virtual tools. And I have found that some of these are just really, really cool. Some of these are my faves. So I'm going to share with you all, some of these, some other ones I have, used maybe sparingly, but I know that they're really, really great. And then the other thing, when we go through these tools, some of these have templates. So you don't even have to make it up. You just tap on a template and it's already there. You can edit it to your preference, but I don't know about you all. I don't like having to reinvent the wheel. I don't have time. So if there is a template out there that will be, fine, I will use it. So let's explore some of our virtual tools. So here are just a few of the tools that we're going to talk about today. Some of these you probably have heard of, and some of these may be new to you. So we're going to talk about Kahoot. Do me a favor, type yes or no if you've ever done Kahoot. If you've ever experimented or engaged with Kahoot, go ahead and type yes or no. Antonio says no. Claire says yes, yes, yes. All right, we see Tanel says yes. Joe says yes. All right, Meg says no. M says yes. Okay. So some no's, some yeses. So Kahoot is really fun. Kahoot is very interactive. We're going to explore a Kahoot today. I like Kahoot. Sometimes Kahoot can act up sometimes, right? So Kahoot is not my first go-to, but it is fun because it allows you to do polls. You can, and it's in real time. You can do these things in real time. It's kind of like a game show. I feel like Kahoot is kind of like a game show. I'm going to ask you a question and you can go on the computer, type in the answer, and we see the results in real time. So I do like it. So we'll explore that one. Slido. I'm not going to lie. Slido is definitely like one of my faves because it can do so much. So we're going to go through Slido. You all experienced a little bit of Slido earlier today when we did our icebreaker. That was an example of Slido. Just going in, I can ask you a question, you can go in and type it, and I can see the results. And I'm going to show you all how, if you can share, when you share your screen and use this, how it can look. Go ahead and type yes or no if you've ever used Slido. Anyone here ever used Slido? All right, nope. Okay, nope. All right, then great. Then I am introducing you to a new tool. All right, so Slido is really, really cool. Like I said, you can do so much and we'll go through that. Jeopardy Labs. Now, Jeopardy Labs isn't, it's not the fanciest looking website, but you can play Jeopardy and you don't have to make up the Jeopardy games. They have so many different templates you can choose from. Now, I would definitely say you want to go and see the whole video game board before you use it with your students, just to make sure that there's nothing inappropriate there, right? But I like it, and I like Jeopardy. So it's not the fanciest looking website, but all of these different Jeopardy games are there and you can choose from so many different things. So if you've ever used Jeopardy Labs or ever heard of it, type yes or no into the chat for me. And I'm really just trying to kind of gauge some of the things and see if you all are familiar with any of these. Okay, I see some no's. No. Okay. Awesome. All right. So then that'll be a new tool that you can put in your tool bag and hopefully pull it out. Even if you're in person, I think Jeopardy Labs is something really, really fun to use. And I've used Jeopardy Labs as an icebreaker when I was training, and I had a good time. I think other people did too. All right, the next one is Nearpod. Nearpod is like interactive teaching, interactive lesson planning. And it's really cool. I'm going to show you kind of some of the demo version. Like I said, again, Nearpod has templates and it's free. All of these things are free. All of these things have a free version. Of course, all of these things have a paid version as well, but there's so much you can still do in the free version. And Nearpod is really, really interactive. Nearpod is really great for the academic purposes, right? And they have a lot of different templates and topics you can choose from, and you just download the template and say, well, boom, this is what we're going to do today. And you really don't have to do any work. The work is already done for you. And I think that they've done a great job at making a lot of different topics. So Nearpod is really, really interactive. It allows you to teach. And it's like the student is there with you and you can see exactly what they're doing in real time. You can make it like self-paced for the student, or you can do it live as well. So go ahead and type yes or no if you've ever used or interacted with or heard of Nearpod. All right, so Meg says, I've seen it, but I haven't used it. Okay. All right, everyone else is like, nope, 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 perfect. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about Google Drive. Sounds so simple, right? I have been using Google, like just the Google Drive aspect of it a lot during this pandemic, specifically Google Forms. I have created so many different Google Forms as just a way to poll my audience and get some feedback. And the reason I like Google Forms is because you can do things and the answers can pretty much come through anonymously where no one else can see. Right? So people, you can really ask people to tell you how they feel and no one else can see the answer, just you. And you don't have to share any of those answers. And, you know, of course it can give you like percentages and things like that. And with Google Drive, you can share files. You can do stuff in real time. And we're going to explore some of this as well. So go ahead and type yes or no if you've ever used any aspect of Google Drive in your programming. Rhonda says, yes, we use it for everything. Isn't it the best? Wonderful. I am excited. And so for those of you who are typing like, yes, 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 we do use Google Drive. At the end, I'm going to love to hear a little bit more about how you all have been able to use it and incorporate it into your programming. And listen, I'm always here for the tips. So you all can shoot us some tips on what have worked, you know, what's worked for you all as well. So these are the virtual tools that we're going to explore and go over and play around with today: Kahoot, Slido, Jeopardy Labs, Nearpod, and then Google Drive. So the first one we're going to talk about is Nearpod. So Nearpod, you can create presentations. They can contain quizzes. You can poll. You can do videos. You can put images. You can kind of go on like virtual field trips as well. And there's so many other features that you can use within this platform. Here's the thing, you guys: free access. And the great thing is they have a lot of templates that are aligned to our, you know, educational standards. So that's really, really cool as well. And then here's an example of like what the home screen looks like. You can choose video. Like I said, you can create slides. You can input web content. You can do like a simulation. You can create slideshows. Something here that they have called Sway, where it's literally like presentations already put together. And you can just go through and look. You can access BBC Worldwide. So many different things. You can input audio. It's just really interactive. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop share here and I'm going to share, let me pull up Nearpod. And so I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you a little bit of the demo, because the demo is going to be able to show you from the teacher view and the student view. And I think that's really cool. And then I'm going to show you some of the resources, one of these really cool resources that they have. Here we go. All right, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button if you can see my screen and it says Nearpod. All right, great. Yep, I see some thumbs up coming. Okay, so let me, perfect, make my screen bigger. All right, so here is Nearpod. It's free for you to sign up with. You just, you know, create an account, nearpod.com. If you want to go to nearpod.com on your computer right now, feel free to do so, because in a second I am going to have you all, you know, join in on a lesson so we can see. But here it is, right? There's a library with all the content. They have a lot of resources here, but and then here's where you create all of your lessons here. So I want to show you the demo, because here, as you can see, the demo, we're going to see it from the teacher's view and the student's view. So here for the demo, right? You would tell them where to go. You say, hey, I want you to go to join.nearpod.com, and they're going to type in this code. Kahoot is kind of similar, where it's just like, all right, you're going to type in the code and you're going to join our Nearpod session. So they're going to go to there, they're going to type it in, they're going to hit join. Boom, they are in. So as you can see, we have the student view and then the teacher view, and they look very different. So here on our teacher view, we can find out here all of the students we know who have participated. Here are, the answers that we're going to give to our question. So here's what the student sees. How confident do you feel in your ability to interpret figures of speech in a text? They can be like, I don't know, maybe I'm somewhat confident. They'll submit. Boom. That's how it looks on their end. Here's what you see, and you'll start to see the answers from all of the different students, and you get to see the student's name and what answer they chose right here. And of course, you can share those figures if you want to. And then you go, right? And then it'll be like, thank you. Boom. All right. So here is, there we go. I was playing around with this and wanted to. All right, so this is the example. I'm gonna go, here's the beginning, right? We talk about figures of speech. Say that's our lesson today. Here's what I see, here's what the student sees. Some of the slides are gonna look the same, some of them will be different. So we're gonna say, hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna practice through some activities, blah, blah, blah. And then as you can see on the teacher's view, you can see all of the students who are logged in and basically what their progress is and how they've been able to match up these things and do the lesson and do the answers there. So this one was just matching different figures of speech with their corresponding example. Here you go. And then, here is, hey, like, why don't you create your own figures of speech here? And then they'd be able to draw in, right? They can drag and they can go ahead and draw in if they wanted to, or they'd be able to type in as well, okay? So, and if they messed up, they could erase. Like, oh, that's not what I meant to put. So as you can see, all of these different features, and then when they're done, they're gonna hit submit. Boom, it's gonna be like, you did it. And you'll be able to see exactly what it is that they submitted. As you can see here, it's just like, oh, now I see what Shavon submitted. All right, now if you were just like, hey, before you all get started, I want to show you some examples. This was me playing around. You can open up the whiteboard option and you can draw and you can type. And of course, they'll be able to see all of these things, boom, right there on your screen. And the great thing is, like, they can't see all the things that you see. So, boom. All right. So that's just an example of what Nearpod can look like. Exit that. Now, here's what I thought was really, really, really cool. If you go into their library, like I said, they have all of these great templates. You can tell them what subject you want, what grades you really want. And here are some of the subjects that they already have: COVID, current events, distance learning, like different activities. I thought this was really cool that they had the racial justice. Look, they have the Calm app on here. When we talk about the social emotional and the, taking a mindful minute. It is currently AAPI Heritage Month, so they have those things. So many different templates you can choose from, and they are free to you. And if you download the template and you make it accessible for you, boom, you can make some small edits if you want to. And right, so I wanted to show you all because I thought this is really cool. This is talking about, how do we process some of the current events? So when we talk about like the Derek Chauvin case, right? Like, even if we were like, I want to process this with my students, but I don't know where to start with, this was like, hey, I already got you. So you can go in and edit any of this, but boom. So they have learning objectives, really all the information, and they have activities and polls and things like that. And here is what the student will see, right here. Of course, you will see a different aspect of it as the teacher, but you'll be able to play around and just be able to see kind of what they know. And once again, students can be self-paced through this, or you can do this as a live presentation as well. So I just thought this was pretty cool because these templates are already set. They look great. I don't know about you all, but I hate making presentations and having to put the graphics in there and worrying about, does it look good? Is it interactive enough? This does the work for you already. So I love it because you can really do some fun stuff. You can do math, you can do English, you can do the different ages as well. Yesterday, I was like, oh, let me play around with the kindergarten one. So I was playing around with fractions and weighing and all of this other stuff, and I thought it was really, really, really cool. So that is nearpod.com. Just put this in the chat for you. All right, so that is Nearpod. Yep, nearpod.com. Anyone have any questions regarding that particular platform? And it is free. All right, so if we are good to go on that, we'll go ahead and hit me with a thumbs up, and I am going to get ready to show you the next one. All right, I see some thumbs up coming through. Okay, so the next one we're going to explore. Let me go back to my PowerPoint here. We're going to talk about Jeopardy Labs. Does anyone like to play Jeopardy? Type yes or no for me. Maybe I am just the weird one. Like, I don't think I would ever do good on the actual Jeopardy game, but I think it's really cool on here. Okay, so yeah, a lot of people are just like, yes. And Tony was like, man, I know, right? Rest in peace, Alex Trebek. All right, so we're gonna play a little bit of Jeopardy here today. Now, the great thing about Jeopardy is you can create your own Jeopardy template. It is online. There's no app to download. Now, Nearpod, you can do online or you can download the app. There is an app for Nearpod as well, but you can also just use it in your browser. I always love platforms that say you can just use it right in your browser, because I hate having to tell people to download so many different apps because it can be a little confusing. So anything that you can use directly in the browser, for me, is always like perfect. And the great thing about Jeopardy Labs, you don't need an account. Now with Nearpod, you do have to sign up for an account, but it is free. With Jeopardy Labs, no account needed. You just type it in and you just go. So I'm going to stop share for that, and I'm going to share my Safari screen. All right. Yes, okay, I wanted to make sure you could see. So here is Jeopardy Labs, and it's just jeopardylabs.com. So as you can see, you can create a Jeopardy game, or what I like to do is already use a template. You can find a Jeopardy game. Now, like I said, it's not the jazziest, doesn't have the best interaction or, just virtual aspects of it, but it is fun. You can do subjects, you can do grade levels, you can do anything. I'm going to click TikTok, right? Because I think that is hilarious. These kids love TikTok. And so if you click TikTok, you can see that people have already created templates for it. So let's click this one. I'm going to click on this one. I have no idea what this says. So let's click play. As you can see, you also have an edit version. So you can go through and edit some things if you're like, I want to use this template, but I want to change it up. So let's click play. All right, so this is what it looks like when you pull it up and say, we're going to start playing. You get to determine how many teams you want, if you want to separate people into teams. I always just go and do like, oh no, I always do no teams, because when I do this, I use that as an icebreaker. So we just kind of play, right? So I'm going to be like, oh, we're not going to do any teams, but if you wanted to do teams, you absolutely could. And then I'm just going to click start. So here's my Jeopardy board game right here. Of course, it goes from 100 to 500. Here are all of the topics: TikTok songs, TikTok trends, TikTok Roblox people, TikTok dancers, TikTok famous people. I don't know any of these answers. So let's see. I'm going to say, I'm gonna do TikTok famous people for 100, Alex, right? So whatever it is, then I would just click it, boom, there's my question. So what is one or a kind of famous TikTok person? I don't even know what this answer would be. Does anybody know a famous TikTok person, or maybe kind of famous, they say? Anybody have any clue? Anybody do TikTok? I'm not very skilled in TikTok. These kids love TikTok. I don't know either. So you can determine like how much time you want to give people. If you want to have like some music playing, is like doom, 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 right? You can really like build it up. Then when you are ready to reveal the answer, hit the space bar. Here is an answer. Zach King. I have no clue who Zach King is. All right. So to continue, I'm just going to hit escape and it takes me right back to my board here. So let's go to, I'll do TikTok songs for 300. I would click that. Oh my goodness. Who sings the song Mood? I have no clue, you guys. Anybody know this? Antonio's like, But the funny thing is, like, we are grown-ups and we're like, I have no clue. These kids would absolutely know. Like, if I went and got my daughter right now, she'd be like, duh, mom, it's this person. I'm like, I have no clue. 24K Golden. I have no clue who that is. But anyways, then I would hit, escape and go right back, right? So this is really, really cool. And they have, let me just go back. They have so many different subjects. One time I did it for Black History Month. We did it in February and they had so many different boards for Black History Month. If you love Marvel, I am a Marvel Comics fan. They have a board based and dedicated to Marvel Comics. They had Disney, so it's really any type of subject you can think of, they have it. Or you can create it, right? You can create your own Jeopardy board right here. Just create a password and then it'd be available on Jeopardy Labs. Now you can also print these. So I don't know if you all saw, but if you click on something, say social skills, whatever, here's an option. You can print, these things as well if you wanted to. But I thought this was really cool because it's Jeopardy and these boards are already there and you don't have to really think of anything. So if I wanted to type in, let's say, Spider-Man. Let's say I wanted to be like, where are all the Spider-Man? Boom. As you can see, like there are already Jeopardy boards about Spider-Man. And this tells you how many questions also are there. And remember, you can edit this as well. So, if you can create, this template and clone it and edit it and do whatever it is that you want to do so that you can make it your own. So I'm going to stop share there. Somebody typed it. I didn't even see this in the chat. I'm sorry about a famous TikTok person. Okay, Hannah Brett talk. That's funny. Any questions about Jeopardy Labs? No questions? Awesome. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you are ready to move on to the next thing. Perfect. Thumbs up there. All right. So that is Jeopardy Labs. So we've gone over Nearpod and we've gone over Jeopardy Labs. So let's talk about Google Drive. So you all know Google Drive. So many of you are like, yes, absolutely, I use Google Drive. You know that you can create shared documents, spreadsheets, you can do slides, you can do forms. The great thing that we love about Google, the Google Drive thing, is you can make changes and edits in real time and it saves it. So sometimes when I want groups to work together, I might pull up a Google Doc and already have questions embedded in the Google Doc because, it's hard sometimes to do group work when we're not in the same space. So I might put a project in Google Doc and say, all right, here's your link for Google Doc, you and your team. And then they can see the changes and, really make in their real time. They can see what everyone is saying, what questions people are answering in real time. And it also saves to Google Drive. So there, you don't have to download it. You don't have to do any of that. I don't have to email anything. So it takes the guesswork out of all of that, like figuring out how you're going to access it if you just do a lot of stuff in Google Time. So my biggest thing I've been loving is Google Forms, because with Google Forms is a great feature if you want to do surveys, if you want to do quick knowledge checks, or even when you want to do check-ins. All right, so I'm going to stop share there, go back and share my screen. And I'm just going to show you all how I've used this, how I've used Google Drive. Nope, that's not it. Let me move this. How do I move this little thing here? Oh, here we go. Here's my Google Forms. Okay. All right, so this is, I have created a lot of Google Forms, as you can see, and I use Google Forms a lot when I am doing my trainings, right? A lot. And I've also used this for signups. A lot of people use Google Forms. If you're like, all right, you all, if you want to sign up for a particular part, here is a Google form, go ahead and sign up for it. So I've used this a lot for the trainings that I do. And I'm just going to show you all just a few examples. This is one when we talk about youth voice. This is an option, right? We created this where it's just, you can just respond true or false. Here are all of the questions I would ask people. And I just want them to answer true or false. And if I click responses, I can see, it gives me a summary of everyone's responses here. I can see individual responses. I can see, just how the questions played off. I can do it by question. But I love that it gives me all of this information, and it's just really accessible. So I can do something as simple as just multiple choice, true or false, whatever. Or another thing that I've done for Google Forms, where's the one that I wanted to? Where did it go? There's another one that I did where I actually have people, here it is. I actually have people, do a breakout room and have them do scenarios. So when I want to do different group scenarios, I will put it in Google, in the Google Doc, and like a Google form, and see here all of the rooms that I create, all of their scenarios are here. So I would say, hey, if you were in the red room, here are the questions that I need you to answer, right? If you were in the blue room, here are your questions. If you were in the green room, so everything is there. And that's really helpful if you put people in different breakout rooms without having to send so many people a different link. I made that mistake of, trying to send different people different links. And it gets really confusing. So it's so easy when you just say, hey, I'm going to put all of the different breakout session questions in one form, and then, just scroll to find the questions for your group. And then you can also see whatever that group responses were. So I can see all the responses that group came up with collectively. So I have found Google Forms to be really, really helpful when it comes to, just doing knowledge checks. Even in my trainings, I have found them to be really, really helpful. I also put our scenarios if I want to have them do some scenario work. And sometimes I'll put people in breakout rooms, and I'll kind of have them act some things out, and I'll say, here's your scenario, go ahead, act it out, talk about it, and then when we come back as a whole group, you all are going to tell me a little bit about what you discovered, what you talked about. There's nothing here for them to respond to, right? But they also have all of these different scenarios kind of broken down so that they can see what they should be doing. So I'm going to go back here. And I'm going to stop share for a quick second. So what I'd love to hear for those of you who say, hey, yes, we use Google Drive, we love it. I would love to hear how you all use Google Drive before we move on to the next resource. Okay. feel free to type it or talk it. How do you all use Google Drive in your program? And this is for those of you who said, yes, absolutely, we love it. We use it all the time. Claire says being able to simultaneously, edit and comment on documents is super helpful for collaborative projects. Absolutely. Man, it's so helpful because you don't have to download anything. There's no, you don't have to worry about email and all these different documents. It's just like, boom, I can see in real time what it is that you all are typing. Awesome. OneDrive is pretty much the same way as well. I don't know. And when I used to work for DC Public Schools, we could no longer use Google Drive. We had to use OneDrive, but it is the same thing. Meg says, I use forms to create audition forms. Ooh, for a virtual show I was directing. She said, we use Google Slides, and Jamboard with outreach teaching. Google Docs are great when creating lesson plans with a team. Absolutely, so that they can all add ideas. I love the collaborative effort for this. Wonderful. M says, I just learned a way to automate formatted email responses to form responses. Wow. I don't even know how to do that. I will have to learn that. M, you just taught me something today. Rhonda says, we use it for collabs, forms for, decision making, and forms for signups for classes and programs as a link. Yes, without making an extra web page. That is right. She said, we also use Google Classrooms. Wonderful. And I think that's key. Like, how can I use this platform so that I don't have to do all this other extra work? So thank you, Rhonda, for saying, like, we actually use it for signups without saying, like, now we have to go do this website, and figure out how to merge everything together. That's a really creative way to use one platform to do so many things. And we all know the great thing about Google Drive is everything is right there. You don't have to keep searching in different, places for where that information went. Boom, if I open up my Google Drive, everything that I need is going to be right there. That is one aspect I love it for. And then I also, can create those folders to say, well, this folder, I'm going to put all the activities for the youth. This folder, I'm going to put all the activities for the staff. This folder, I'm going to put all the forms for the parents, right? And I know everything is right there. So that is awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing your resources and how you've been able to really use this platform while you've been, we've been in this virtual space right here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that's just, how we can continue to optimize Google Drive for our needs, not just administratively, but as you can see, also programmatically as well. Our next resource is Kahoot. Right? So like I said, think of Kahoot kind of like a game show is how I think of it. It's a game-based learning platform, makes it really easy to create, share, and play games. And you can also do like quizzes. So this is just a snapshot of what it will look like. You can literally just type a question. You'll be able to create the answers. You can put pictures and all of those things. Another thing I love about Kahoot, templates. If you're just looking for something fun to do, Kahoot has a lot of templates that you can just say, this looks like a fun game. This is like a really nice, engaging template. Let me just download this template and we're going to play, the game that was already created. I am all about optimizing my own time. If I don't have to create it, I am not going to create it. If I can just tap in and use something that was already created, that is exactly what I'm going to do. I will just say again, for templates, just make sure you go through and really see it, and if you want to make any changes, go ahead and change it so you can customize it, and just make sure everything is appropriate to whatever age group you're working with, whatever topic you're discussing. So I'm going to stop share there so that I can share my screen, and we're going to go to Kahoot. All right, so this was one I pulled up, and here it is. It's practicing multiplication with Moana. So as you can see, all the pictures here are the questions, it had puzzles, all of these different things. So this is a template, and we can edit, right? Like if that's what the creator allows, and you can just play. So I'm gonna just hit play. And again, you could do self-paced, or, you can do it kind of like how you do live. So the one thing to know is that for you as the instructor, wanting to create something, your website is going to be kahoot.com. Kahoot.it, right? Kahoot.it. That is the website when you want people to just tap into a game. So I wanted to make that distinction as well. So this is me, right? If I just say like, we'll do 1-to-1, you can do team mode if people are, sharing devices, whatever. I'm just gonna do classic. Here we go, right? It's going to tell you where to go. Boom. You're gonna say, all right, everybody, go ahead, go to www.kahoot.it. Here's the game pin that you're going to put in. You all can feel free to do that if you want to. And what's going to happen, all the players are going to show up. So if people start to log in, it'll start to say, all right, so, Antonio's here. It'll be like Jessica's here. It'll be like Meg's here. So you will see however many people, tagged in and went ahead. Now, here's a great thing. If you know that you have 12 students in class, but you only see 7 students logged in, that's when you can be like, all right, well, we're still waiting for, these many more students to pop in. Now, when you create and pop in, you don't have to use your name. They will say you can create a nickname. So make sure that you establish some guidelines for some of, because kids like to test boundaries sometimes. So they might put some inappropriately. And so I see Claire's here, Joe's here, right? So as you can see, it's popping up as people tap in, and it lets me know I already have 2 people here. You can share your screen, and this is what they will see, but people will also see it from their end where it's the Kahoot screen. So we can say, all right, let's start. So, and I love the music, right? So practicing multiplication. Like I said, I think of this more as a game show. Quiz. All right, so select the multiplication sentence that describes this array of fish. All right, so here, now for those people who have logged in, they will be able to choose the triangle, the diamond. They'll be able to choose, all these other things. And when both people answer, when everyone answers, it'll end, but there's a countdown as well that says you have 60 seconds, you have 30 seconds. So you can determine how much time people have to answer each question. You can make it really quick. Like we've played this and we're like, all right, you got 10 seconds. So really kind of put the pedal to the metal. Or you can say, all right, I'm going to give you all a minute to think about these, and then it will pop up. And so as you can see, 2 people chose 2 times 2 equals 4. Right now, they chose the correct answer. If someone would have said, oh, well, that is 2 times 3 equals 6, it would have been like, no, one person chose, the wrong answer. One person chose the right answer. Like it will show you kind of what people answer. And then you go to the next one. They give you the scoreboard. Now, like I said, I have played this with both youth and adults. And I will tell you, this scoreboard option really motivates people, because as you're going through, it's like you see your name go from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top. So people are like, okay, bring it on. And you can also incentivize this to where you're like, all right, so I have a special surprise for our top 2 finishers. People are going to be like, okay, what's the next question? Because I have to beat Claire. I have to beat Joe. So it's really good to just try to, motivate. All right, so then the next one, so this was a puzzle. Put the sentence in order to match the array of sharks. All right. All right, so as you can see, our countdown is here. Now you have to, this is a puzzle, so that means you have to put this in order. 4 rows of 5. What's the correct order? Is it, 5 rows of 4? Is it rows 4 of 5? So you would have to put this in order. All right, so 2 answers came in. As you can see, I can see how many people are answering. Here's my countdown button right here. All right. So the correct order is 4 rows of 5. Right? So you can see, and you can go back and show the media, and you can be like, all right, let's count together, right? So you can do those things. And when I hit next, it's gonna go, right, show me the scoreboard. All right, now we see what happened. Claire just popped up to the #1 spot. So this can be something really, really fun. I'm gonna go ahead and end the quiz here. That was really fun. So at the end, right, it does have like a little, I love this. It does have like a little podium thing where it's just like, oh, boom, #1 person. And I just think this is really fun, like really cool. And this was something that was a template. I didn't create this myself. You can create them. I have created my own quizzes or, you know, whatever, but it will always have this type of interactive feature to it. You don't have to make it, you know, do this at the end. It will always do that at the end. The only thing you would edit are the questions. All right, so let me go. I stopped sharing there. Let me actually X out of that. Let me leave that page. Okay. And so you can do teams. You can do it individually, right? So this is, it's just something fun. Like I said, it's really game show. Antonio says that was fun. Uh-oh. He says, until next time, Claire, right? So I love it. Like I said, I've done Kahoot with you know, both grown-ups and youth, and you know, kids are already like, ah. But I tell you, when I did this with grown-ups and people were trying to get to the #1 spot, it was hilarious. But it's really game show like, so you can really build it up. It can be really, really fun. You could just make a whole, you know, a whole thing of it. And people they like it. Now, the thing about Kahoot, sometimes I feel like Kahoot can be a little wonky. Now, depending on your person's, you know, computer that they're on, because it does have so many like plug-in features and stuff, it's very interactive. It might not act right on everyone's computer. So I just want to put that out there. Some people might be like, oh, mine's is really, really slow, and so I missed out. So just kind of know that, because there are a lot of plugins on that website. All right, so how do we feel about Kahoot? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know what you're thinking about that one. All right, got some thumbs up. Yeah. So I do like Kahoot. I've used it. Like I said, I am a makeup artist, but also I actually teach makeup to young people. We use it as a mindfulness tool when we talk about self-care. And I've used Kahoot a lot of times just in like little quizzes, knowledge checks for them, something really fun for them to play with. The thing I've noticed about Kahoot is that so many teachers use it. They use it a lot in school too. So sometimes kids are like over Kahoot. So I love to kind of switch it up between Kahoot and Slido, even do like a Nearpod or something. All right, so I'm gonna go back to Mom and share my presentation again. So that was Kahoot, and now we are to the last one, my personal favorite, Slido. So Slido is a really great question and answer. It's a great polling platform. You can use it in person, right? You can also, it's been awesome virtually. So they keep adding new features to Slido, and again, it is free. So they do a lot of different things that you can do on Slido, and I'm going to show you. And it's basically a polling tool. So this is how it looks right here. Just a quick snapshot of how it looks when you come in. You can create multiple choice questions. You can do a word cloud. They added a new feature where you can do quizzes. You can do just like an open, you know, answer, open text, and then you can also do a rating, like a star rating system as well. So a lot of different options, and I like it because sometimes I don't want to do a lot of, like, if I want to poll, but I want something really fun, I could do like a word cloud where people are just like, type one word and they're just like, okay, cool. Or if you're like, I don't want to use any words, and I can go to a rating system and be like, all right, like if I were to ask you all, hey, you know, rate this training 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, whatever. You don't have to use any words, but you can just go and click whatever the rating is. That's still feedback, right? Like that's still us empowering our youth to have a voice, to get their feedback. How did you like this? Or what can we do differently next time? Any question you can think of. I'm going to stop share here so that I can share my screen for Slido. Alrighty, here we go. So I'm gonna get out of that, and out of that. All right, here we go. So let me go to let me go back. That was what we did. So this is my thing, and this is free. I just want to say that again. It is free. Now, so the only caveat with the free version, you can only, from what I believe, you can only create one Slido in, how can I say this? I'm going to show you, because you can only do one Slido at a time. They call them events. So you can only create one event, right, at a time, instead of doing multiple events in just one little thing. So I literally go through, and I have created so many icebreakers, so many reflections. Like, as you can see, I use this a lot. It is very fun to me. So, and they have the different pins and stuff here. So I would go to create new Slido. Once again, there are some templates there, but I would go ahead and say, I want to create a new Slido. I would give this a name. It's going to be your event name. So I would say, you know, interactive tools, whatever. Now you can do a start date or end date. So if you wanted to do this and say, all right, I'm going to give you all a week to give me feedback on this. I'm going to create a Slido. I'm going to make it last for a week. That's the event duration, where people be able to go in and answer whatever questions you had there. And then you would give them the event code. I always use this live. So the start and end date are never really relevant to me. So then you would schedule your Slido. All right, so here it is. I scheduled my Slido. Now I get to go ahead and create it. So I can do multiple choice, right? Where I can say, here's an example. Here they say, what is your favorite color? Blue, green, yellow. Where I love word clouds. Quizzes. Like I said, you could do the rating, or you can do just open text. And then they did a different one, a new one. You can do ranking as well. So these are really fun ways to do surveys, where they're not your typical, like, you know, here's a piece of paper or here's a Google form, whatever. You can do as many, you can create as many of these as you want to. So when I was talking about the different events, in this one event that I named interactive tools, I can only create one poll with the free version. If you pay for it within interactive tools, I would be able to create multiple surveys or multiple polls, but that really doesn't stop me in any way. I literally just create different events, and you can create an endless number of events with the free version. So if I wanted to do a word cloud, I would say, all right, I want to do a word cloud. You can allow multiple answers. See, it says enable profanity filter, right? So that will block any explicit word or phrase, because sometimes people try it. Or if you say, you know what, I don't mind these, you know, these young people. Maybe you're working with some older youth and you're like, hey, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel, right? So you can take that off. You can also set a character limit if you want to. So if I wanted to do a word cloud, I would do I could say, like, what is your favorite food, right? And I can save this. I'm like, I want to save this just in case I want to use it later. So I would save this. And you see this green triangle button here. If you push this button, press this, that's going to launch it. So that's going to make it live. So that I want to go ahead and make that live. And when people start answering, you can view your results. Your results would be there. So just like how I did earlier, I would go to share and I copy this link, and then I would go and, you know, I go into the chat. If I can find my, currently close that. So I go into the chat and I would put this and say, hey, boom. There's the link right there, everybody. Go ahead, follow that link and share with me, what is your favorite food? And as people were clicking that link and filling it out and telling me whatever their favorite food was, I would be sitting here and then see, all of a sudden, all of the answers start to pop up. So this is really great because in real time, I'll be able to see everyone's answer pop up. So if I wanted to view this the way that you all view this, I go to participant mode. and it pulls it up right here, right? And it lets me know how you all can view this. Boom. So now that allows me to see your view as well. Because if you're like me, sometimes we only see like the administrative view. It's like, oh, I don't even know what you're looking at. So I like this because it allows me to see how it's popping up for you, and I can see it on my end as well. So I actually like this ability to be able to see what you're seeing and to be able to see it how I'm seeing it as well. And so there it is. You can view all of the results right there. You can, you can go over them, whatever. So that is just a word cloud right there. And then if you want to deactivate it, you can deactivate it. You can duplicate this if you wanted to. You can. So here's what I do a lot. If I know I'm going to use this again, when I'm done with it, I would say, all right, so I want to reset the results here, which means I'm going to reset them. Boom, I'm back to being able to use it again for someone else. So if you have multiple sessions and you want to use this same word cloud for multiple sessions, you don't have to keep duplicating it in order to use it for multiple sessions. If you don't need to save the answers, you can reset the results and use the same link to send to other people, and it would pop up here. All right, so I'm going to stop share there. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. So that is Slido. Like I said, it is one of my favorites. I use it all the time because it's free and it can do so many things. And as a trainer, I do a lot of poll taking. And it's just a fun way to be able to offer different types of polls without having to use so many different websites. There was also a tool called Poll Anywhere, I believe. And I tried that one, but I didn't like it as much as I liked Slido because I liked the way Slido looked. I liked the appearance of Slido, but Poll Anywhere was also like something you can use to get a lot of, polls. And the thing about Poll Anywhere, it shows you on a map where people are polling from. That really didn't matter because for me, when I'm polling people, they're usually all kind of in the same area. So I was like, that's not applicable. So then I just stuck to Slido. All right, so how do we feel about Slido? Go ahead and give me thumbs up or give me thumbs down. You like it? You're like, don't like it. Let me know how you're feeling. All right, I see some thumbs up there. Okay, perfect. So we got about 10 minutes left. We are right on track to finish on time. So we just went through all of the different virtual tools. So let's talk about maybe some best practices. I would love to hear, what are some of your favorite virtual tools that you all have used? Feel free to type it, or you can unmute yourself and you can talk it. So let us know, what have you found to be really useful as a virtual tool for you during this time? All right, I see Antonio said Jamboards has been really, really helpful for him. Awesome. And I know a lot of people have been using Jamboards and they have found it really, really useful. And I know some people said, just the whole Google Drive thing has been really helpful. Slack, oh yes. Rhonda says Slack has helped, yes, for planning. Yes, yes, yes. And there is kind of like a youth inspired, and I think to me, it reminds me of Slack. But it's more of like I think to me, it's very similar to Slack because you can chat and plan and things. And it is, I'll have to find the name of that, but there's another one that's very similar to Slack, but is youth led. It's kind of like youth inspired. Antonio says, does PowerPoint count? Absolutely. If PowerPoint works for you. Meg says, one of my coworkers used Picker Wheel to help choose what, yes, yep. To help choose the order to call on students. That's right. And those are really fun if you are doing drawings or, you want to be able to a random generator. They have a lot of different apps like that. So thank you for that tool, Picker Wheel. Claire says Padlet is great to organize a lot of public documents and information. Thank you. Google Chat is similar now too. Okay. Calendly, yes, helpful too with all these Zoom meetings. Yes, to Calendly. You are right. Let's see if I can find. Oh, there was another one. I cannot think of it. I will have to find the name of something. It's very similar to Slack for the youth, but it is something where people can chat and collaborate, and they have different templates there as well. So I'm so glad that you all have found some virtual tools that have been helping you. HubSpot, yep, free CRM, team friendly as well. Wonderful. What else I have used? And so for the administrative side, I've been finding, first of all, Google Calendar has saved my life, because I have so many different Gmail accounts. I don't know about y'all, but I have so many different Gmail accounts, and Google Calendar can show me all of my calendars just on one app. So that has been extremely helpful for me as well to help keep me organized. Another really great tool, if you're into, like, if you have students who love to create stuff, or if you're challenging them to create presentations, Canva, because Canva is free. My daughter, she's into like graphic design and social media marketing now, and she does that for different organizations. So Canva is a free tool. If you've never heard of Canva, I'll type it right here, canva.com. Canva is a free tool where you can go and create different graphics. Let me pull up my Canva, and I use Canva for so many different things. I'm going to stop share, just so that you can see kind of what you can do with Canva. So you can, design presentations. Log in. I think that's my login. So you can create really nice presentations. And it made me think of it because Antonio said, does PowerPoint count? Now, like, PowerPoint can be cool, but the one thing I found about PowerPoint, if you want to create like a jazzy presentation, it kind of limits, some of your presentations, because the graphics just aren't the best. And with Canva, you can create a presentation, and they have all of these different templates. You can create flyers, posters, whatever, logos, so many different things that you can create, like presentations here. And they already have templates there, and it's already like automated and have all of the movements and stuff like that, if that's what you wanted to do. So if we wanted to, like this one right here, if I want to say, sure, I will use that template. Perfect. Now, some of these templates are free to use. Sometimes they have these images that you have to pay to use, but I just take the image out so I don't have to pay to use it. But the templates are already there. So I could say, I want to use this template here, and it is a template that has movement to it. So I can, play around with how much, timing is there. But here are basically all of the different templates that they have with this one style. So I do like Canva if you're into creating stuff. I know when I work with a lot of older youth, I often have them go create presentations, and I direct them to Canva. Arana says free phone apps for creating on Android for social media poster, but yep. Pixel Alert, absolutely. Yeah, background eraser, Pexels. Thank you so much. So all of these amazing resources that we have at our disposal here. Once again, I love free. This entire time that we've been virtual, you all, I've not paid for one app, not paid for one single app to use. So I highly encourage you, if you're really looking to make your sessions a little bit more interactive, a little bit more engaging, please go and play around with these. I'm going to send Antonio this presentation when we're done so that he can send it out to you all, and you all can just have that information there as well. I'm not going to hoard these resources. So as we are closing out, I just want to do a quick reflection. So just type into the chat and let me know, what is one new thing you've learned today during our 90 minutes together? just type one new thing you learned. It could be a new resource you learned about. It could be a new feature. Doesn't matter. Just one new thing you learned during our time today. Oh, I love that you all love Slido. I love Slido. It is my fave. All right, so we see some people saying, Slido was a new thing. Antonio says the resources, right? So all those Kahoot, Nearpod, Picker Wheel, Jeopardy Lab, the different resources also. Yeah, Nearpod is amazing. Like it really is. And it says Jeopardy Lab, Slido, Nearpod, makes us use all the options to help engage. Wonderful. I'm so happy that you all found these things useful. I really, really hope that, you all find them easy to incorporate into your programming so that you can really enhance the quality of programming in this virtual space. Claire says, I hadn't heard of Nearpod before, but I'm looking forward to trying it out. It is amazing because, like I said, y'all, I don't like to recreate the wheel. I can just download a template. I can edit it to, my liking, and I have a whole lesson plan right there. So Nearpod is great because if you know that your staff struggle with having time to lesson plan, I know how it is, right? When it's like, oh, well, we're supposed to have all this time to lesson plan, but because I had all these different things, I didn't have time to create the whole lesson. Go and get a template. Go and get a template, edit it. Boom, that's your lesson right there. And I love that Nearpod also has so many like mindfulness templates, racial justice templates, subtraction, addition, all of these different things that are already there. And it's really, really fun. So I really hope that you all found that useful. Well, I'm going to ask you to do one last thing for me before I close it out. Let me know by typing into the chat how you would rate this training. Would you give it a 1 and say, listen, I didn't find this useful. This was a waste of time. I don't care about any of those things. Would you give it a 3 and say, you know what? I found it a little bit useful, but I'm not really sure if any of this is really for me. Or would you give this a 5 to say, hey, this was exactly what I needed. I needed to learn all of these things and I'm looking forward to implementing them. So what would you do? 1, 3, or 5? I see some 5s coming in here. I love to see it. Amazing. Now, listen, if you say this was a 1, I am not offended. Like, I understand, but I do see some 5s. So I'm great to know that you all found this useful. This was a great use of your time today, 90 minutes, right? Wanted to just get in and get this to you. And that is it. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. You can type them into the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask me. Here's my contact information. If you were just like, oh man, Shavon, I have a question, you can email me, sndotson@gmail.com. Really easy to access me. Thank you all. I'm so glad you enjoyed this training. Thank you so much for your time, your effort, your energy. I really hope this is exactly what you needed today. That is it for me. Thank you so much, Antonio, TJ, and Felicia, for allowing me to be here and speak to you all. I am done. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to everyone for joining today. Like she said, I hope you all found this to be very valuable to you all, like it was for me. I'm definitely going to be trying some of these new resources that I have, especially as I do a lot of coaching and things. So this was excellent. Just one more time, I put our events in the chat. Like I said, May 27th is our end of year celebration. And so we will be hearing from the mayor and also the superintendent of schools will be there as well, and as well as our CEO from Metro United Way will be there, and we also will be giving away a lot of free merch. So this is something that you don't want to miss. And also the week of June 8th through the 11th is our Summer Institute. So we will have a plethora of choices and options for you all to delve into a lot of trainings and a lot of workshops. Shavon will be leading some, and we'll also be having some that'll be led from people at the University of Louisville. So it'll be trauma-informed care, social justice, trauma-informed care. There'll be structuring clear limits. There'll be a lot of youth work methods that'll be going on. So if you have any staff, that feels like they need a little brushing up on, or you just want to introduce them to some new things that they may not know, this would be a great opportunity. So just go to the website where we have our events and you can register there. And that is all that we have. If anybody has any questions, I'll stick around for a little bit. But if that is it, please enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you all.